Well, CJAX back with another video, and it's about his prediction on the future for WWE. Now, honestly, I think I know what he's about to talk about, but let's go ahead and check.
Y'all, WWE's future looks atrocious. And I'm talking garbage. You get what I'm saying? Now, the number one reason for this, obviously, is because WWE and Triple H cannot build new stars. So if you don't have a future of stars, and superstars and megastars to build up the next generation, then things are not going to work out. It's as simple as that. Every generation has their guy, of course, okay? So you have your Hulk Hogan's in his era, your Stone Colds, your Rocks, you know what I'm saying? The Undertaker, right? John Cena, you get what I mean? Roman Reigns of this generation. People like that, right? The real, forebears of each generation, the trailblazers of each generation, the goats of their eras respectively. But my question is, who is going to be the next John Cena or the next Roman Reigns? You get me? It's not like, who is it going to be? Who even is going to be the next Seth Rollins? Someone who's great and consistently amazing in the ring, and then is solid at everything else like storytelling and building promos, etc., and is also consistently featured and consistently doing their job. Who is doing that right now? Who is showing signs of doing that to the level that even Seth Rollins could? Forget Roman. Forget people above Roman like Cena or Rock. Forget that. Who is even going to be Seth Rollins? Like what are we doing? We have nothing to look forward to in the future. All of the biggest and best, and this is why this is so alarming to me, all of the biggest and best stories and best moments and most important moments, impactful moments, you get what I mean? All of that stuff that's taken place in recent years has mainly, or pretty much all, been done by all-time great level talents who are in the past, but are still doing work in the present. So an older person like Stone Cold Steve Austin at Mania 38, it's a big story. He wrestles Kevin Owens, wins the match, and all that stuff is amazing. Stone Cold is one of the all-time greats, so him showing up is something that's important happening in recent years. CM Punk, his return, hadn't been in the company since 2014, comes back after nearly a decade, has a massive, amazing return, and then proceeds to give WWE with him and Drew, they have arguably the best feud of 2024. So that's another notable thing that's taken place in recent years that's done by someone who's like over the age of 40 to 45 or whatever, and who is an all-time great talent that's already established. Now, Punk isn't on the level of any of the dudes previously mentioned, like Roman, Cena, or any of them, but Punk is great. And the fact that he's another older talent that's considered great, that is coming back to do work in the current era, shows you that they have nothing to lean back on. Same thing with The Rock in the Final Boss Run. The Final Boss Run was absolutely peak. It was incredible, and it built one of the greatest builds to a WrestleMania literally ever. You know what I'm saying? Him running things with Roman as the tribal chief, who's another one of the biggest stories from the recent years, is the Bloodline, and Roman Reigns is the tribal chief in the 1300-day reign. These are the most important and impactful things. Randy Orton coming back, John Cena's retirement tour, him turning heel is one of the biggest moments in the history of wrestling. You get me? This is all the biggest and most important things are revolving around these stars who are obviously way older, and they're all like all-time great territory or just great talents in general that are older, that are doing work for the current generation. It's not sustainable. Why is every great thing happening with someone who's at least the age of 40 or Roman Reigns who's been established for years? Where are the new talent? Why is no one under the age of 35 or under the age of 30 giving us anything to talk about? Why is that not happening? It does, like, what? Outside of those important moments and important storylines and, impactful segments and stuff happening with those people I mentioned in recent years, what else is there to look at? Sami Zayn taking Gunther's 600-day Intercontinental title reign? Cody Rhodes feuding with Kevin Owens? Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan part 1000? Really? This is what it's come to? Outside of the older talents that you're bringing back out of the woodworks and giving them fat checks to come back for 2 months here and there, outside of that, you have nothing to show for it. And another thing that is evidence of the fact that they have nothing to show for other than these older all-time greats is the fact that look at the WrestleMania feuds this year that don't revolve like, these people. And look at all the feuds that don't revolve around Rock, Punk, Roman, even Rollins, right, or Cena or Orton. You have stuff with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Really? I can't stop thinking about Punk. That jobber, he just had a great feud with Punk when he was involved with Punk, and that was good, and now look what he's doing without Punk. Every single talent is leaning on these older superstars to elevate them. Look at the stuff with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair, a garbage feud, absolute garbage. A potential Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu match at WrestleMania? Really? Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens? I love Randy Orton, he's an all-time great, but the fact that he's gonna have to feud with KO? At least KO's decent, but come on. You have Jey Uso versus Gunther? Look at how bad that feud has been. Just a brawl segment, and the next week is a brawl segment, and the next week is a brawl segment. Nothing creative, nothing innovative, nothing exciting, nothing that really hooks you into the feud and makes you think about it differently and has you hyped to see both of these people come out. Nothing. The feud's been been set in stone now for like 6-7 weeks, or like 5 or 6 weeks, and nothing's happened. Nothing has happened to make you more engaged than you were when it was first announced. That's embarrassing. It's a World Heavyweight Championship feud, and it feels like a mid-card U.S. title belt feud. Like, it's embarrassing. Then you have the stuff with what? Who else? There's probably going to be a 6-man match for the U.S. title or for the IC title. You know, nothing's happening with Braun Breaker. All this stuff is meaningless. Nobody cares about this stuff. Nobody's hyped for WrestleMania 41 in general, of course, right? Like, the build has been horrible, but no one is especially hyped for stuff involving the Intercontinental Championship, you know, or the U.S. title, even though LA Knight is awesome. No one's hyped for this U.S. title picture. Let's be real. No one's hyped for Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte as currently constructed because the build in the story has been atrocious, because all these stories are built the same way. It's a brawl segment, and then another brawl segment, and then another brawl segment, and then an awful promo segment, and then a brawl, and then eventually we'll get to the match. It's the same thing with Jane Gunter, Rhea, Io, and Bianca. It's the same stuff. None of these feuds are inventive. None of this stuff is engaging. The only stuff that's mildly engaging for this Mania is the stuff revolving around, guess who? Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Rollins, their feud situation, Cena's heel turn and how that'll play into The Rock and Cody Rhodes and taking the championship. That's it. The championship itself, which doesn't mean anything until Cena gets it, quite frankly, because Cody's been a terrible champion, but that's, you know, we've already talked about Dr. Libations. I respect you. I love you. You know, so like it's just ridiculous at this point. You know, you get the points. Everything that's important and that's good that's going to happen is probably going to revolve around those people who are already established greats, and then the other ones are just older part-timers who are showing up in the current era that are probably going to be retired in 2 years. It's just as simple as that. They have no younger talent that actually can take the reins and be like, wow, this person can be the next megastar of this generation or the next generation or etc. It's not going to work like that, and we know this. And the only goal now that people operate off of, it seems like with the roster of talent, which isn't really that much talent in my opinion, but anyways, the roster is just operating off of people who can put on good matches. That's all it is. Lara Valkyria, yeah, she can put on a good match, but what stories can she tell? What's her gimmick? What's her character? What's her story? You know, does anybody care? No. You know, it's the same thing with people like Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, she puts on a solid match here and there, but what's her story? What's her gimmick? What good promos is she cutting? How is she elevating the championship? You get what I mean? Cody Rhodes. Yeah, he puts on a good match here or there when he chooses to wrestle with his 7 title defenses in nearly 400 days. But anyways, you know, Cody Rhodes, he puts on a solid match here and there. That's cute. But what is he doing on the mic? How is he elevating stories? How is he building the prestige of the title like the guy before him did, Roman Reigns? You get what I mean? It's not happening. So I don't understand why the roster has gotten this bad and no one talks about it. This is the future of the industry. And Braun Breaker's in his mid-20s, and this dude's sitting at home with an Intercontinental Championship belt, fighting once every 6 weeks. But Rey Mysterio at 45 or 50 years old is wrestling every week? Are you kidding me? This is an absolute monstrosity is what this is. This is embarrassing. And the fact that we have to sit here and put up with this garbage is just very, very sad in my personal opinion. Wrestling now is all predicated on, can you put on a good match here and there? It doesn't matter about your stories, your promos, none of that stuff. Bayley got a WWE championship last year off of her prestige and her history. What did she do in that reign? Nothing. What did Nia Jax do in her reign? Nothing. What did Rhea Ripley do when she had the belt for a couple months? Nothing. What did she do when she had the belt for 400 days? Nothing. You understand? Like, this is ridiculous. How is this even possible to put up with this absolute garbage in which we have to sit here and see all these wrestlers now who are only there to put on a...
I'm amazed you never talked about Liv Morgan's reign as champion.
Good match here and there and do absolutely nothing when it comes to their story, their promos, their elevation of storylines, of course, right? And obviously, you know, their championship reigns. No one has elevated any championship since Gunther elevated the IC belt to an extent, and Roman Reigns obviously elevated the WWE title and the Universal belt. That's it. Other than those two, no one has elevated anything, except for if you want to include the the Usos Tag Team Championship run, of course. But other than that, nothing has been elevated at all for the last few years, unless it's one of those people. So I just don't get this. In the Mania main events, which over the last, however many years have been the same people. Mania 31 was a main event with with Roman and Brock, and then obviously, Rollins cashed in, so you have that, right? 2016 was Roman and Triple H, okay? 2017, if I'm not mistaken, was Roman and Undertaker. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. And then 2018 was Roman and Lesnar again. 2019 was Becky and Charlotte and Ronda, which was different, but still, Roman Reigns is in like a mid-card match or something like that because he had to take the break with his leukemia situation, which, thankfully he got to wrestle that year at Mania, so that's cool. And then obviously 2020 was COVID Mania, so, it was Brock again and Drew McIntyre, whatever. And then 2021, Roman, Daniel Bryan, and Edge, a Mania main evented by Edge, who was above the age of, well over the age of 40, you get me? Roman Reigns, who was obviously established and going on an amazing run as a tribal chief in the early stages. And then Daniel Bryan had been wrestling in the industry for years, and Bryan's obviously known as a great in-ring competitor. He had already won world championships in WWE, so it was expected for him to be slotted in there as a third guy in the storyline. Then you get to Mania 38, Roman and Brock Lesnar for the third time in 7 years? In 7 Manias, you had the same main event 3 different times? And then following that, you had 2 back-to-back Manias with the same main event with Roman and Cody? Are you kidding me? It's the same people main eventing. And then outside of that, if the WWE Championship is in the main event with Roman or somebody else, then whatever's underneath that, right, like the Universal belt, which for a while was even more than the WWE title, it definitely did when Roman had it, the belt that's underneath the WWE belt or vice versa with that in the Universal or that in the world title, whatever is underneath the WWE Championship is always going to be, dealing with someone like a Seth Rollins. It's the same people. The same people are in the upper mid-card and the same people are in the main event scene, which basically means that no one has proven to be good enough and the booking has not dictated that they're good enough to slot them in there alongside guys like Roman and Rollins in the upper mid-card, or even Cody Rhodes, in the main event of Mania now for the 3rd straight year with Cena. You get me? It's the same people for a reason. They haven't proven anything with their talents. They haven't proven anything with their abilities, and their championship reigns have dictated that. Their talents have dictated that, and the booking dictates it as well. So the question is, what's next? Where are the new stars? When are we going to get a new star, and why are we not getting any new stars? And the simple reasons, I guess you could point to, are the fact that, number one, WWE's whole format is now based off of ads and all that other nonsense, rather than the actual quality of storylines. So wrestlers are not being pushed to their fullest potential, and they're not being put in positions to experience their full potential, at least not put in positions consistently, you get me? So because the wrestlers, obviously, themselves, the roster just isn't good. There's no way to run around the issue. The roster is not good. You have people who have potential and have talent, like Austin Theory has talent and potential, but what's he doing? Showing up once on Raw or SmackDown every 5 months to get jobbed out by whatever celebrities on the episode? That's all he's doing. So what are we supposed to do with this? And then obviously there's a dictation here is Triple H's booking. That's what's really dictating a lot of the stuff that's taking place. His booking is atrocious in the format of WWE and this new TKO deal and this Netflix stuff, all these ads, this nonsense, this garbage is wasting our time. These 5-match PLEs with predictable matches where we know that Cody Rhodes is going to retain his belt. If Gunther chooses to show up and wrestle, he's going to retain his belt. He's got 5 title defenses in 8 months, fun fact, which is ridiculous. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? Whatever match is going to happen with the IC belt is probably going to remain on. Whoever has the belt walking in is going to walk out with it. It's the same thing with the US title belt, except for, maybe once in a one-off, you'll have something like Shinsuke beat LA Knight and then proceed to have a bad reign. It's ridiculous. How is the talent supposed to get any chances if you keep doing the same title matches on every PLE and you only have 5 matches and they're all predictable? You're wasting our time. If we know they're going to win, you might as well just have them not even wrestle. Just don't even have them show up. I'd rather have a main event with LA Knight versus like Montez Ford or LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes for the US Championship. If the match has a great story and the in-ring work is amazing, I'd rather see that than Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens when I know Cody's going to win. At least there's some question marks with LA Knight whether he's going to retain or not. Where's the unpredictability aspect at? Where'd that go? And with these repetitive episodes, these predictable and long title reigns, not everyone is Roman Reigns. You understand? There's a reason why when you look at the GOATs of each era, it goes down in a list. Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold, sharing that dual head kind of, with those two. John Cena, you get me? Roman Reigns. You understand how it gets from Roman Reigns? It doesn't just skip down and then randomly go to Cody Rhodes. It doesn't go like that. It doesn't skip down and go to Gunther. Stop giving these long, unnecessary championship reigns to these people because now you're just holding the belts hostage. We know that no one is going to take the belt from Cody unless it's a Mania or a SummerSlam. We know that no one is going to take the belt from Gunther unless it's a Mania or a SummerSlam. So with that being said, there's nothing to fight for 90% of the roster. What are you fighting for? That's why Ludwig Kaiser, who's a solid mid-carder and is kind of being decent recently, he's going to get stuck feuding with Pete Dunne and Penta probably for the next 2 months.
I still hope that Kaiser don't join the Judgment Day.
He's probably not even going to be on the Mania card because of it, because there's nothing to strive towards. The New Day, one of the greatest heel turn segments of all time, and what have they done since? Nothing. Absolute garbage since. It's embarrassing. How do you have a turn that great and that promising and proceed to mess it up and have them be in garbage storylines and meaningless matches with Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio for 2 months? Really? Why are the New Day not tag team champions? Why are the Street Profits just now getting the tag team championships that they've been rightfully deserving for like a year now? It just doesn't, what is happening? What is the future of this company going to look like when you have no more Cena? You have no more Roman. You have no more Rock. You have no more CM Punk. Rollins is going part-time, you know what I'm saying? If that happens, right? What else are you going to look for? Huh? A main event with Drew McIntyre versus Carmelo Hayes? Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship? This is the type of stuff you're going to be looking forward to in a couple years when these people start to weed out. These older talents, especially Cena's done after this year, and maybe has 2 or 3 years left max. CM Punk's probably got the same amount of time left. Roman Reigns is already barely there every year. He's wrestling maybe 5 matches a year, maybe 6. So it's not looking good. And you look at these other talents, they're just restricted to being good on only Raw or SmackDown, which is where they peak out. Because they're not going to be on any PLEs. The tag team belts, I think, went, 8 months without being defended on a PLE? So why, what? The IC belt doesn't change hands at PLEs. The US title changes hands once on a PLE in the last 2 years. What? It is very weird. I don't understand this booking, and it's absolutely atrocious, and it's infuriating. This is the future of the company is at stake, and Triple H is just booking this into oblivion. The New Day, obviously with their heel turn, they've done nothing since. The Street Profits finally get their belts after 4 years? 4 years? Huh? Carmelo Hayes puts in bangers week in and week out, wrestles consistently, has charisma, has a good entrance, and the best that you can reward him with is getting face-planted RKO'd twice by Randy Orton and getting left in the middle of the ring? And then a couple weeks before that, he gets pinned by Braun Strowman like a month ago? This is the best that you can do? Have him lose to Andrade 3 times? This is the best you can do, really, is lose to Andrade, lose to Braun Strowman, even though you're doing everything you can and you're still getting booked like a jobber. So again, LA Knight's the same thing. He wins the U.S. Championship after being over for a year and a half. He wins the U.S. Championship. Jey Uso, after being over for a year, is just given a World Heavyweight Championship. Here you go, Jey, just take it. You're like, what? LA Knight is better than Jey Uso at everything, but Jey Uso gets a World Championship at WrestleMania 41, and LA Knight's registered, to just be a U.S. champion, defending in a random multi-man match at the show. Are you kidding me? This is just, what is Drew McIntyre? Another top talent, arguably the MVP of WWE in 2024. Mr. I can't stop thinking about Punk. Wins the world championship, gets jobbed out 4 minutes later, and then never gets a world title back. And now he's feuding with Damian Priest for Mania 41 the following year. Really? This is the best that you have to offer for these people who have talents and abilities? Chad Gable, incredible at pretty much everything, right? He's great in the ring. Has charisma. He's got the right lines. He delivers a dialogue well. He can build some stories. He's a guy you root for, whether he's a heel or a face. You know what I'm saying? I like Chad Gable. He's really good. And somehow, the best he can do is barely get close to beating Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship? Really? How is Chad Gable not the one to take Gunther's belt last year at Mania 40? It would have been much better for Chad to win that match.
Well, I always say that American Made should be treated like Kurt Angle and Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, tag team titles on the Creed brothers. And I don't know about world title, but Intercontinental title for Chad Gable. And then women's Intercontinental title for Ivy Nile. You know what I mean? And then they would have been one of the most dominant group on Monday Night Raw. So I don't know why they never done that, but this is going to lead a breakup real soon if they don't get that right. But, But I do think it's unfair that, that they're doing the group like this, because Chad Gable hasn't been around the American Man in a while, because he's too busy trying to attack the luchadors, and I don't understand that. But it's part of the storyline, I guess.
But anyways, Then you got Io Sky. She gets a transitional title reign with the world title after grinding and being the workhorse in the women's division for a year. And the best you can give her is a 5-week title reign so she can get pinned by Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley at Mania 41. It's a disaster. I don't even know what to say about this anymore. The point's been proven. We've all seen it. Triple H is booking this company into oblivion, and the WWE TKO, all this other garbage with Netflix and all these ads and the declining ratings, the unengaging stories, one of the worst builds to a WrestleMania ever. This is embarrassing. And WWE's future is 100%, as of now, in shambles. It may get better in the future, but right now it looks atrocious, and it's absolutely infuriating, confusing, embarrassing, and it's absolutely ridiculous. You understand? So let me know what you think about WWE's future in the comment section below, but there's too many issues. There's too many problems. You get me? You have no star power going forward. You have nothing to look forward to outside of the same people. The part-timers are part-timing it up, right? We have the same predictable PLEs over and over again, predictable matches, long drawn-out title reigns, and the fact that the booking in the eye of talent by Triple H is simply just not as good as Vince's was when Vince was like in his semi-prime, as a booker. So I just don't understand this, man. It's ridiculous. Let me know what you think about WWE's future. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.
It's like I said before, we just need a new bookkeeper. That's it. Triple H can still run the company and do the ads and marketing. But as for bookkeeping, we're going to have to let somebody else do that, because it's obvious that, you're not Shawn Michaels when it comes to, bookkeeping. And that's no disrespect. It's just Shawn Michaels is good at bookkeeping when it comes to NXT. And, I just think we should get somebody else to do the bookkeeping while you do the ads and marketing. You know what I'm saying? But, again, y'all can comment down below and let me know what y'all think about Triple H's bookings. Do y'all think he's lacking, or do you think that he's doing a good job? Do y'all agree with CJAX or not? If you listen to the video, let me know what y'all think about pretty much what CJAX pretty much said about the bookings and the storytelling. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new, and I'll catch y'all in the next video, all right? But make sure you comment down below and discuss, all right? I'm out.